Okay, let's talk about dropshipping. You've seen it everywhere, right? It's all over your social media feeds, promising this amazing laptop lifestyle where you barely have to work. But is any of that actually real? We're gonna dig in and find out what's really going on behind all those success stories. So, what's the deal? Is dropshipping this golden ticket to making a ton of money? Or is it more like a really risky bet where, the odds are seriously stacked against you? That's what we're here to do. Cut through all the hype and get down to the harsh reality.
I mean, the pitch, it sounds incredible, doesn't it? Almost too good to be true. Just find a product, throw up a website, run some ads, and boom, you're rich. Well, there's a reason it sounds that way, because it usually is. The real story is way, way more complicated than that simple little formula.
All right, so let's pull back the curtain. Time to get real. We're gonna look at what the actual data says, and it's a serious reality check. Okay, brace yourself for this number. According to industry analysis, a staggering 95% of new dropshipping stores fail. And not just fail, eventually, they fail within the first year. Just let that sink in for a second. And this chart, it really paints a clear, kind of brutal picture. You can see right here, only a tiny sliver, like 1 to 5% of people who even try this, ever get to a point where they're making consistent money. The rest, the huge majority, they either lose money and fail, or at best they just break even. So that begs the question, what do we even mean by success here? Because it's not about those flashy screenshots of huge revenue numbers you see all over Instagram. No way. We're talking about what Harry Chu, the founder of TrueProfit, calls real success. Consistent net profit. That's the actual cash you have left in your pocket after you've paid for the products, the ads, the shipping, all the fees, everything. And yeah, those costs, they're the real killer. Harry Chu puts it perfectly. It's the razor-thin profit margins that take most of these stores down. I mean, get this, he's seen stores doing over $1 million in revenue that are still struggling to just break even. It's a perfect example of that old saying, revenue is vanity, profit is sanity.
This whole disconnect between what you see, the big revenue numbers, and what's actually happening, the tiny profits, it's all fueled by a few really big myths that just won't die. So, you know what? Let's tackle the 4 biggest ones. Let's separate the hype from reality for good.
Okay, myth number 1, the whole get-rich-fast dream. This is the idea that dropshipping is your magic ticket to quitting your day job next week. But the reality is, the people in that top 1 to 5%, they aren't newbies who just got lucky. They are serious, full-time operators. They've put in the hours, and they know this market inside and out.
All right, next up, the classic, the China method. You've heard this one. The myth is you just pop over to AliExpress, find some cheap product, stick it on a Shopify store, run a Facebook ad, and cha-ching, the money just rolls in. The reality? You're jumping into an insanely crowded pool, trying to compete with giants. We're talking Amazon, Temu, Shein, on the exact same products. You literally have zero unique edge. And myth number 3, this idea that a dropshipping store is like a sustainable business on its own. The real pros, the people who actually make it, they don't see it as the end goal. Not at all. For them, it's just a tool. It's a way to test products and see what sells before they go all in and build a real brand. So think of it like the practice round, not the championship game. And this might be the biggest myth of them all, that you can start with $0. Now yeah, it's true you don't have to buy a warehouse full of inventory up front, but that is literally where the free part stops. If you want a real shot at this, you gotta be prepared to invest. We're talking somewhere in the ballpark of $5,000 to $10,000. And most of that, it's going straight into ads and testing. Okay, so we've torn down all the myths. It might sound a little bleak, but what about the people who do make it work? How do they join that tiny club at the top? Let's break down the actual path to getting into that top 5%. The people who succeed, they have a playbook, a real strategy. First, they treat dropshipping for what it is, a lab for testing products. Second, they're obsessed with customer lifetime value, or CLV. They want people to buy again and again, not just once. Third, they automate their operations as soon as possible so they're not drowning in busy work. Fourth, and this one is huge, they build a real brand, not just a generic store. And finally, they learn from other actual operators in the trenches, not from some guru on YouTube selling you a dream.
So when you boil it all down, what's the real point of dropshipping? It all comes back to one thing, your mindset.
And this table here lays it out perfectly. There are 2 ways to approach this. You've got the guru mindset, which is all about quick cash. They're focused on those big, flashy revenue numbers and just copying whatever's trendy.
Then you have the operator mindset. This is about building a brand for the long haul, focusing only on net profit and finding a truly unique angle. At the end of the day, you have to choose which path you're on.
So really, the big takeaway here is you need to totally reframe what dropshipping is. It's not a lottery ticket. Think of it as your education. It's like a real-world business school that lets you learn e-commerce with relatively low risk. It's the place where you can test the waters, figure out what works, and find that one winning product that can actually become the start of a real, long-lasting business.
So, in the end, dropshipping is just the entrance exam. It's the first step. The real test, the final exam that actually leads to real success, is taking everything you learned and building a genuine brand from it. So, the question for you is, are you ready for the real exam?